Hey, my friend, this is Greg Gomez III, founder, CEO, FastStartMarketer.com, and I'm here with another third installment, actually, of our 3 keys to freedom, financial freedom, part 3. So in this episode, I'm going to be going over the third step in the 3-step process. Of just a reminder, as a refresher, traffic and leads was the first part. I covered that in video 1. Yesterday's video, or in the previous video, I covered conversion. What do you do with leads? How do you find? So in step 1, how to find traffic of leads of good quality prospects, people already interested in your product or service, how to get them interested in your offer, how to get them coming by the droves, bucket loads, truckloads of people coming to your offer already interested in what do you have to offer, getting leads of those folks. And then step 2, conversion, picking up the phone, talking to them, how to build a process that converts, and then overall going through a system that ultimately allows you to get better quality leads at a lower price point, ultimately getting more people engaged and buying into your process. Now, in step 3, in what we're covering today, we're actually going to be going over how to systemize that. Now, the question that I always get asked for folks is, okay, Greg, well, here's the big question we have for you. Now that we have these leads, now that we have these sales, I'm stuck. That's the next big stage that I see a lot of entrepreneurs stop at or get stalled. And the challenge they face is that they get to a certain point, they were getting leads, they're getting conversion, but either they can't get people to stick around, they can't keep people, they can't keep those new reps, or they can't get them to, the dreaded word, duplicate. So although I as an individual am doing well, I'm not able to get my team to go out there and take off and get that done. And you'll find that the challenge is that both of these items are interrelated. They are actually a direct result of not having one thing in place, which is a system that allows people to be able to be productive. Now, a lot of times I get leaders that come to me and say, hey, Greg, we want a system. Will you build a system for us? And the challenge with that is that the systems that I build don't match the personality or the voice of the individuals who are in those organizations. They just expect that, oh, it's easy. Go give me other people who want to build a business and do what I do and they'll be successful. It's not the case. What I do is I actually work towards the strengths and the individual abilities that the rep that you have on your team has. See, here's a concept you need to understand. As a perfect network marketer, let's say it's you. Let's say you become a top shelf guy, you learn, or gal, you learn how to do traffic and leads, you know how to get conversion down, you know how to do prospecting, you know how to present, you know how to objection handle, you know how to deal with objections, you know how to answer questions, you know how to follow up. You can follow up with folks very, very well. You know how to inspire, you know how to get people going, right? Challenge with this is this only goes so far. You can only do so much of this. So you might impact, your people, right? Let's say you've got 5 of them that you bring in. And as a direct result of doing this stuff, you actually get these guys to a certain level in production. The challenge is that when these guys start to produce, they get very few people who can do those things, and in fact, very little growth at all. So although you might have 5 here, these guys, this guy might have 1, this guy might have 2, and then these guys don't sponsor anybody, or if they do, they don't stick around. They get the good goose egg. You get people to come in and then go into a witness protection program, because these guys for sure don't know how to recruit. They sponsor 0. So once that happens, they quit, these guys go away, and then these guys turn from happy to sad, and then you're constantly refilling your bucket because these guys aren't capable of getting it done. Make sense? See how far back this goes before I have to start to erase it. So the key thing here is that you need to understand, how do you turn this around for these guys? How do you get these guys the same production as as you, or close enough to it? So the challenge or the solution to this becomes, well, you need to take this individual sales rep, you need to take you as this good person that can do this stuff, and you need to take that smile, and you need to cut this person up into little sections, okay? Not literally, metaphorically, allegorically, if you will. So this is the saw that cuts them in half, right, and gets them to different sections. And you need to take the prospecting and just make that one piece. You need to take the presentations and you need to automate that. You got to take the objection handling and the Q&As, and that becomes something that goes to a closer. Okay? You have the follow-up this goes to a support rep. And then you inspire them. This can still stay with you, and that way you can be the face of the organization, and you can even be the automated presenter. But the long story short is these guys' responsibility should be one thing and one thing only in the beginning, and that's prospecting. See, when I heard this key, when I first started to understand this concept, what wound up happening was I actually found a training course that shared with me, not a training course, but basically a system that allowed me to focus more on getting people interested in my products and services from a strategic standpoint. And the quote that really changed my salesmanship understanding was that, the long story short is that a lot of people are trying to go out there and become a perfect sales representative when some of them are just excellent closers, but they're terrible at prospecting or following up. They can get the business, but if your business had to rely on that individual keeping the business, what eventually happens is that person, he costs you too much money because he's a hunter-gatherer, not a farmer, if that makes sense. The personality type is very different, and they're very skilled at the hunter-gatherer, but doing the rest of that stuff is just not something that they're qualified or skilled to do. And in fact, to do so is really a waste of that individual's capabilities. And that's why it's so important that you do focus on that process. So let's actually just do that. It'll be faster. All right. So how do we do that? Well, you need to understand that there are several steps into your process. So there are leads. Obviously, you got to get leads. And you've already done that through this process here. And no matter how many leads you generate online, you need to understand that at some point you're going to have to buy leads, buy cold targeted leads, and have a funnel that allows you to take, that's what this process is. Your whole conversion model would basically be this funnel. Okay, we've talked about this before. Let me draw a better image than that. And in this funnel, you're going to have different stages. Oh boy. What's funny is I was going to be a comic book artist. Can you tell? So in this funnel, you take cold prospects and you have your team members' appointment set. Okay? They drive prospects into this system. And this can also be done, some of them will pick up the phone and do it. Some of your team will be good at the internet stuff and you'll train them to actually go get traffic, much like you did in the beginning. The difference is you'll have a system that's already been proven and established to work. So you'll have them go through and they'll just traffic or prospects through the phone, through this process, and they'll be cold at this standpoint. When they cold, but they're curious, and really that's really where it is. They're curious. Well, eventually they'll hear your automated, this is your auto sales message. Okay? And what this does is it's you getting these prospects, so they appointment set, they set them in, and then they follow up after the fact, after they come out this bottom. And a certain percentages of these folks will just bounce out and no, I'm not interested, I'm not looking for this, wasn't what I was hoping for. And the psychological process is they'll go through the somewhat interested, they'll have some real desire that's built up, they'll be passionate, and here's the thing, they're willing to take an action to demonstrate. And that action could be a monetary action, right? When we come down here, typically this is where the money comes out. So the follow-up happens, you have a conversation with them after they've been educated, which is really educated, they're interested, they build desire, they have passion for it, and then they're willing to take action. They have so much desire and passion, they're willing to go out and say, you know what, this makes sense to me, I got to have this, here's my money, shut up and take my money. That's what you ultimately want. Usually, though, a prospect's going to come in somewhere between interested and desire, somewhere in that realm, and that's when you follow up with them, and that has to answer the rest of the questions. And the reason they're not immediately take my money ready is because they have questions. They have concerns, they have confusions, they have doubts, they have skepticisms, they have all these different things that go along with that, and that is where your salesperson comes in. So this is the follow-up by the same people that appointment set. Say, hey, did you like that? I did. Great. I'll set up appointment, or actually what I like to do is I don't have the appointment setters call them back. I actually have a closer come in, quote unquote, it's a loose term, but basically somebody skilled in the art of Q&A and objection handling. And they go through that phase of they answer questions, and there's a specific formula to answering questions. And once that's done, they ask for the order. And then inadvertently, whenever you ask for the order, you're always going to get a little pushback from folks who are given objections. So they'll give some type of an objection, some reason why they can't do it, etc., etc. Well, this closer, and at first, this is you. At first, this is you doing the closing from top to bottom because you're having these guys' appointments set for you. Now, this alone will save you 80% of your time, right? Because that's one of the big challenges. I'm following up on everybody. I'm dialing, I'm prospecting, I'm doing all these things. I'm so busy. I'm working like 40 hours a week or 80 hours a week just so I don't have to do the 40-hour work thing, right? And when the appointment setters take that appointment setting side off of it and you have this mechanical automated funnel that's in place, what happens is they do a bulk of the heavy lifting. 80% of your results are going to come from proper prospecting. Well, when you teach them that one thing to do, you teach them that one thing of prospecting, you've eliminated 80% of your time waste. And it's good for them because they get to progress up to just do that one thing. They don't have to be prospector, presenter, objection handler, closer, presenter, inspirer, all those other things. They don't have to be this perfect networker, not yet. They can develop into that. This just gives them an opportunity to start with the one simple thing. They pick up a phone, they do some dials, they drive people through a funnel, and they go from there. Or if they're web inclined, they take one traffic source, they take one landing page you help them work with, they go buy traffic and they test ads, right? They test ads, and you teach them to be this solid online marketer to start. Now, you do the closing. Now, what happens is, let's say you get 5 appointment setters. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay? 1, 2, 3, 4, and then there's 5. And these guys are feeding the funnel, right? Well, 1 or 2 of them are going to show some adeptness to it, or they're going to be inclined to do this. They're going to be really have some affinity for prospecting and phone sales. And as a result of that, you start teaching them. You let them listen into the recordings. Do your local legal situations apply to be able to hear how it is you close from top to bottom, and that way they can hear the objections. You can have them role play. You can have them practice. They can actually memorize scripts. You can create scripts for them, right? And long story short, you start to systemize this next step of your business so that you can go back and concentrate on working on your business versus in your business. Does this make sense? You can be the face. Case in point, look at my current business model. I do a lot of marketing. I do a lot of one-to-many marketing platforms, and I have hundreds, thousands of people come to me on a daily basis interested in my offers. Now, I just had a comment. In fact, you can see here, I hope he doesn't mind, but if I look at a comment that I got from Daniel, you can see here, one of the surveys I sent out, it says, got your survey email, do I hate you? Laugh out loud. No, definitely not. I think the sorting method you developed to find people ready to join is genius. I think the information on MLM is gold as well. I just struggle connecting the dots on my own. This guy's trying to get into our $5,000 coaching program. Awesome. Really hoping to be in by the end of the year. He's with Brian Carruthers. He's got a bunch of leads and he's trying to work them. Cool. So that's the engagement that winds up happening. And I have automatic responses to some of these things. Thanks for reaching out. We do our best to respond in a possible time. And then I will respond to him. In fact, he's up. I'm going to respond to him here in just a minute. And the reason why I'm showing you this is because I have systems that sift and sort my prospects for me. It doesn't make them numbers. I genuinely care about the people I'm talking to. I care about you. I want to see you be successful. That's why I do these things. People tell me all the time that, Greg, I feel like I know you. Right? And that's very important because I let my natural personality shine through on the videos that I shoot so that people can get a sense of who I am. Right? And that way, by the time I do have a conversation with them, or if one of my team members has a conversation with them, they're pretty much ready to turn over the cash and start getting ready and making a change in their life. And you cultivate all these different steps. I have appointment setters. Let's see if I can do this. So I have appointment setters. I have closers, quote unquote. I don't like to call them closers, but that's the most common name for them. I have customer support. Let's just do support reps. Support. I have tech support. I mean, I have a full multi-million-dollar business based around doing these things so that I don't have to do it. Every single one of them was based on me doing it, creating a standard operating procedure, just documenting it, and then having them hand off and they do it for me on my behalf. And it's grown so much that we have individuals doing stuff that, I mean, way smarter than I ever could do. I mean, they're way, way more brilliant than me. This is their noggin. Big brains. And they do great things that I never would be able to do. And that's a collective of developing that. And here's what you don't understand. Most of the people, 90% of the people that I've brought on board through this process and in my company have come through my business models, my recruiting systems. They saw the systems, they became students of the programs, they invested heavily into them, they fell in love with the impact that we make with folks, and they wanted to be part of my team over time. Now, I've talked to 250,000, 300,000 plus networkers over my 10-year plus career, and online rather, and as a result of that, I've worked with about 20 to 25 people who've just been outstanding as part of our organization. And I've made great connections that way. But all of it is because I did this one thing over here. I systemized my business. You too can grow your business to those levels. Thousands of reps. I mean, in fact, networking is easier. It's easier to get a lot of distributors in your organization. It starts with product funnels, like I've mentioned before. We'll talk about more on this webinar. Getting the conversion process down. This is where people get lazy. They get to the conversion side and they're like, well, I don't really want to have to do that. There's got to be an easier way. There's not. It's simple. Pick up the phone, talk to them, get them to convert. Because once you have this, once you have the conversion, systemizing is easy. Systemizing becomes very easy. Scaling becomes very easy. Your main concern is not getting $1 million. All right? 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. This is not what you're looking for. You're looking for $1 in profit. Period. That's all you need to do. You find $1 in profit, you can scale that profit to infinity. Because if it costs me $5 to get $6, think about it. You put $5 in a machine, you get $6 back every time you put a $5 bill in there, right? And it gave you a 5 and a single, right? That's $6. How many times do you want to stuff $5 into that machine? Well, even better, when you've got this whole process dialed in correctly, you put $1 in, and it gives you $2 back, right? Now the question becomes, how often do you want to, how many times do you want to put $2 or $1 into that machine? As many as it will let you put in, right? That's what we're going to be covering on this webinar. So what I want you to do right now, if you want to learn step-by-step how to apply and how to get traffic and leads for your business, if you want to learn how to be able to do these things to get conversion, specific hooks, strategies, marketing thoughts, ideas on how best to improve the conversions in your business. If you want me to show you how, if you're already getting results, you already have a traffic conversion funnel, you already have something that's getting you profit, that's the key. I need to see profit. You need to explain to me the numbers of something that works. I'll show you how to scale it. I'll show you how to systemize it so that you can go and scale it to 6, 7, 8 figures and beyond. I've helped people do that already. All you have to do is it's simple. Do you want that in your business? If you do, register below for the webinar. I'll go in great detail and I'll actually use your businesses as an example of that. In the meantime, what you want to do is you want to register at faststartmarketer.com/live. faststartmarketer.com/live. This has been the 3 keys to financial freedom. Okay? And it really is that simple. Traffic and leads, conversion, systemizing it. You can go build a multi-million-dollar, even dare I say a billion-dollar business as soon as you understand these concepts and you put them to place, put them to work for yourself in your business. I'm going to give you real world examples, case studies, and people actually doing it, and show you some working funnels that are already converting at high revenue markers. Little old ladies who I absolutely adore, amassing 66,000 people in following, approaching 70,000 people in a following from simple little Facebook things she's doing that adore her. She makes a post to recruit and people jump in and want to sign up with her. Gentleman who's getting, he's got 14 leads that he generates. He dials those numbers. He gets 8 contacts, and out of those he gets 3 people that sign up into his business. Do the math. If you had numbers like that in your business, what would your recruiting look like? How long before you'd be able to quit your JOB, right? All of it starts by you registering for the webinar below. Get on the webinar, my friend, and I'll see you there. Talk to you then.